Welcome to the Wisepreneurs podcast. I'm Nigel Rawlins. The rules of work have changed. This podcast provides the intellectual framework for experienced professionals to navigate this shift and embrace the art of wayfaring, forging your own path to build a meaningful, independent, professional business in your third age. We'll explore how to build this business on the strength of your relationships. We'll cover how to leverage your deep expertise to deliver valuable outcomes, not just sell your time. How to design a work life that protects your cognitive vitality, and how to make technology and AI a powerful, augmenting tool to enhance your work and productivity. My goal isn't to promise success, but to provide the tools, resources, and encouragement for a more considered, purpose-driven venture. Let's begin. Oliver Burkeman worked out that if you live to 80, you'll have about 4,000 weeks. That's it. 4,000 weeks to do everything you want to do. Most of us respond to that reality by trying to cram more in. We become more efficient. We optimize our schedules. We tell ourselves that if we work just a bit harder, get up a bit earlier, we'll finally get on top of things. But what if we've got this completely backwards? My guest today is Mayumi Kataoka. She's a certified forest therapy guide based in Sydney, Australia, and she takes people on 3-hour walks that cover barely more than a kilometre. Now, when I first heard this, I thought, a kilometre in 3 hours? What on earth are they doing? And that's rather the point. Mayumi came to Australia from Japan 25 years ago. She's worked in IT, taught martial arts, and spent a decade photographing eucalypts. Then one day, searching online for information about gum trees, a Japanese word appeared on her screen, shinrin-yoku, forest bathing. She says she knew instantly this was her life's work. What Mayumi understands, what 40 years of Japanese scientific research confirms, is that for 99% of human evolutionary history, we lived in forests and natural landscapes. Our bodies evolved in these environments. When people walk slowly through bushland with Mayumi, stopping frequently to engage their senses, seeing bark colours, hearing bird calls, and feeling temperature changes, something remarkable happens. 3 hours pass like minutes. In our conversation, Mayumi explains why our constantly divided attention isn't just making us less productive, it's literally defining what reality is for us. Why the antidote isn't just another productivity system, but something our genes already know that we need. She talks about biophilia, our innate desire to connect with nature, and how modern life has blurred that instinct. She describes what happens physiologically when we slow down, and she shares how her career journey through multiple professional identities taught us something crucial about midlife reinvention. Each phase wasn't wasted. Each built the observational capacity she now brings to helping others see what they've been walking past for years. If you're feeling overwhelmed by constant demands, if you're wondering whether there's an alternative to simply trying harder, this conversation offers something different. A way back to truth, to simplicity, to the environment we're actually built for. Mayumi, welcome to the Wisepreneurs podcast. Can you tell me something about yourself and where you're from?
Yes, my name is Mayumi Kataoka. I am a certified forest therapy guide. I'm originally from Japan. I'm based in Sydney, New South Wales right now. I've been here for 25 years now. And I take people into the forest for some mindfulness walks and activities.
So 25 years ago, you came to Australia. Why did you come to Australia and what made you want to stay?
The first time I came here was back in 1997 as a working holiday visa. And I fell in love with this country, everything about this country. So I wanted to come back. And I came back here in 2001 with a business visa to a local IT company working as an IT sales and marketing assistant. After a few years, I got my permanent resident, and here I am. Through some IT career to martial art instructor, and then some photography, working nature, and as a forest therapy guide.
Okay, well, let's start some of those. So you worked in IT for a little while.
Yeah.
And a martial arts gym as well?
I was learning martial arts while I was working in an IT company. My colleague recommended to join one of the class that he was doing already. And then I also fell in love with the method. I was learning for 5 years. And then my teacher left the school, so I took over the school and I was running my own classes to teach self-defense from kids to adults for next 4 years
Okay.
by myself.
And what martial arts was that?
It's a mix of Japanese karate and Korean taekwondo.
Wow. So you're quite formidable. And at what point did you start the photography?
I've always loved photography since when I was younger because my father and my grandfather was a wedding photographer. And every time I visited his place, I always played with his camera and he's got lots of films. So I used one of these film cases to put all my treasures in. And somehow my mind connecting with camera equipment. And as I got older, I got my first camera, the instant camera, and then I start taking picture. That's how it started. So my passion for photography got really strong. I moved to Australia because of the beautiful natural environment.
Were you photographing in Japan or was it more so here?
While I was in Japan, my main subject were always friends and people. But when I moved to here, it changes to nature, particularly for trees.
Okay. So what is it about Australian trees that you love?
I love the different diversity of different kind of trees living together and the resilience and strong eucalypts. Some of the species shed the barks seasonally, and before they shed bark, they shows amazing colors. And that color really struck me. This is such beautiful colors. And that's how I got really interested to take a record of the history of these trees seasonally.
So any particular trees or just you like all the Australian eucalypts?
I love Australian eucalypts. Of course, I love trees in Japan, but somehow I relate so much with eucalypt. I see my strengths and learning the strengths from these trees.
I was recently in Japan. Australian landscape have got very different colours to different countries like Japan, even Europe and even England. The greens are very different, aren't they?
Yes, very different. But somehow that's really calming to me. You think that Australian bush are like faded green compared to the other forest. But then you look closer and you see so many hidden colors in the barks and leaves. That really amazed me. So what we are seeing in the distance is just one or two colors. But when you get closer, you'll be amazed how many different colors they are showing.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about how your photography led towards forest therapy and what that means. So basically, you've been photographing and you've been selling your photographs as well?
I used to, not anymore.
Oh, okay. What's happened there?
I used to go for local markets every month, with selling my pictures. But somehow I stopped because I wanted to do more forest therapy as a business.
Okay. So let's talk about that. So you've spent a decade photographing Australian native trees, and we just had a conversation about what you're actually seeing. And then you've become a forest therapy guide. So you've done a very observant look at Australian eucalypts, and now you're taking people out for forest therapy. So I think somewhere I read that you describe nature as choosing you. So obviously, um, the environment's got a very strong pull on you.
Yeah.
We've talked about what you see through the lens, and I'm assuming that was a foundation for how you guide people in the forests. And we call it bush in Australia, don't we? In the bush.
Yes.
That. How has your photography focused your forest therapy?
Okay. To find or to notice these small details or hidden colors or hidden patterns or hidden natural beauties, you need to slow down. You walk slowly and your mind kind of wandering around nature. So before you seek something, nature starts showing you what they have, what they are, what color they have. If you walk faster, you can't really notice these things. But when you stop for one thing, one by one, and keep going one by one, you start really tuning yourself with the surroundings. You see more colors, you see more stories, or some tiny things, just, sunshine through the leaves gives you like moment. That's really soft, gentle light against the leaf. That's so pretty. I want to capture this. So this moment I really treasure in nature. And even though I've been photographing, I feel so calm. Lens is just one of the window for me to see more details in nature. But even without cameras, put my eyes close to things and see details and discover some new things. Anyway, so that's how I've been doing nature photography. Every time I see subject, I walk close to them. And for the trees, I go around 360 degrees to find out the best angle for the trees, for them to look good. So how did I get to therapy through my photography? As I mentioned a bit earlier, the colors of the bark of the eucalypts, that was really striking. And I couldn't believe that the tree was revealing so much colors, and I didn't notice. But one day the color was telling me, hey, notice me. Look at my color. So that moment I got wow. And then I was looking at some gum trees, eucalypts on Google, and suddenly the word of forest bathing, in Japanese we say shinrin-yoku, that word just popped here to the search engine. When I see that word, I got light bulb. Shinrin-yoku, this is it. I just straight away connect with the word, clicked it. This is my work. This is going to be my lifetime work. I knew it. I couldn't explain, but I instantly knew it. And through this shinrin-yoku, I could share such hidden beauties that people don't notice. Not from the photography, not from the piece of photography, but with their own eyes, with their own feeling, with their own senses.
I love that. What I'm thinking here is that we are so busy in our normal lives in a built-up environment, cities, that we are so disconnected from nature. And what you're saying is you've got to get them into nature, slow down, turn off all the phones and all the distractions, and try and be there. I listened to a couple of evolutionary biologists called the Dark Horse podcast, and they wrote a book and they talk about that the forest is our natural environment from thousands of years ago. And there is something about trees and leaves and the greenery that appeals to us all. But we're so busy with our lives, we're disconnected. So you have been doing this on your own for a while. So have you been taking groups out on your own for a while?
Yes.
How do they work? How does that go?
The walk itself takes 3 hours, but I give them my first 10 to 15 minutes, a brief introduction about the history and concept of forest bathing, and I take them for a really slow walk, very mindful walk. And then I stop them, invite them for a few different mindfulness activities, and then we keep walking on. I normally prepare 3-4 different activities during the walk, and then we finish with tea and snacks at the end to share what we've been through.
I've got to be honest, when I go walking, I like to just get through it. I do look a bit.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I live in a coastal environment, so I don't have a lot of trees. It's, and parts of the walk have got trees in the houses on the side. I normally put my podcast on and I listen as I'm walking. But lately I've stopped taking the podcast and just hearing the sounds and making sure I see. I still keep my speed up if I can. So I must admit, as I get older, I'm walking slower. But you're taking people out into the bush and you're talking about the light on leaves and the canopy above. So how do they handle a 3-hour walk? I mean, if you're a busy city person, how do they slow down?
Yes. Believe it or not, they don't realize that 3 hours passed already because they're so tuning to with their sense. So first they connect with their sense. That's important. And then as you walk, without putting much effort, you start collecting one by one. Even though you're still thinking a lot of things in your head, emotionally, but as you start walking and as a guide, I guide them to notice details in nature. And they slow down a little bit. By the time we go, like an hour later, people are already feeling relaxed. And then they seem to really enjoy engaging with their senses, with surroundings. So they forget about the time. And it's not like bushwalk or hiking. I don't let them to walk for 3 hours nonstop. So I stop them for a while and give some activities, invite them activities for 15 to 20 minutes. And then their heart rate goes down again. And then we go for another walk for maybe 10 minutes. And then stop, give another activities, invite another activity. So it's a repetition of these walks and stop activities and walks. So by the time we finish the walk, I take about 20 minutes for the last tea ceremony session. But people are just amazed. Is it been already 3 hours, 2 hours and a half? And we only walked for 1.2K.
That's actually not a long distance.
So bushwalk or hiking is goal-oriented or more fitness purpose. And when you have a busy mind, it reflects the way you walk. Your walking pace got much faster. But because in the nature, you don't have to go anywhere. So you have more space in your mind, in your head, that it's telling you it's okay to walk slow. You don't have to go anywhere.
Well, I'd like to go into details a bit later because one of the things I've been writing a lot lately, and I haven't been speaking so much on the podcast about it, but it is with not only the world around us, but our inner selves as well, and hearing what our inner selves are telling us as we get a bit older. Okay, now we've been talking about you running Forest Minds, which was your business, but now you've joined into a forest therapy collective in New South Wales with 3 other guides. Can you tell us something about that and what working with 3 other people brings to forest bathing?
Yes. We all came from the same institution where we got certified as forest therapy guides. And August this year, we worked together for Sydney Cherry Blossom Festival in Auburn Botanic Gardens. And we individually run our business, but as a group, it was the first time that few guys got together and provide a walk in a different time for different audience. The walk was received quite well from the audience and from the event. And we always, striving to promote forest therapy more, not only for individuals, but for the corporate sector. because there are a lot of people working so hard and suffering from stress, anxiety, burnout, and they're less motivated for what they do. So to help support overall wellness, we thought taking forest therapy as one of the wellness tools, like yoga or meditation, just be in nature for them to get more clarity and get more creativity, make their team stronger. For these reasons, we thought we could work together to promote forest therapy to the corporate section. And that's how it started.
And it's only recent that you've established that.
Yes. So just after the Cherry Blossom Festival, we got together and, hey, we could do this and that. So we just started.
That's fantastic. I think the world's become, especially business now, very complex with AI and a whole lot of shifting changes in the world. And things are not simple anymore. And we've got to live in our heads and work with our heads, because that's where I guess our career capital is, our intelligence has got to be used. But it is so easy to burn out. I'm hoping a lot of my listeners are working for themselves, but older professionals. And I find myself personally, I do a lot of writing now. I do this podcast. I still look after clients. But there's only so much attention that I can give to my work before I need to have a break. In fact, I'm finding I've got to get outside more and more. And if I don't get out in the morning, my whole day is different. Now, obviously, I'm older. I don't want to be working all day.
Yeah, good.
But I love doing what I do. But unless I get outside, maybe get into the garden, maybe go for a walk, maybe get on my bike. I ride an electric bike, so I can get everywhere now. So I can get up hills. If I had a normal bike, I don't think I'd be doing it. But the point is, working with our brains, whether we're in a corporate environment or working in our own homes for ourselves, for clients, we can't keep doing it all the time. And we've got to look after our brains, which is perfectly what you're saying. So this is something that's inside us, and you're helping people reconnect with that. Okay, let's move on a little bit from there. Let's talk about the Japanese Forest Therapy Society. Where did you do your training?
Actually, the training was online. So it's a 6-month intensive online study. And because I wasn't in Japan when I started my course, I received the course via online. But I also received the training in here, in Melbourne, 5 days face-to-face training, and also the next 7 months of online training.
So that sounds pretty serious. So how many hours was this?
Yes. I committed myself. I didn't know that there's a certification as a forest therapy guide, but I really wanted to do that. I knew this going to lead me in better lifestyle.
Okay. So you've done the course. So tell me about the Japanese Forest Therapy Society. What astounded me is it's got a lot of scientific validation. In Japan, they've got certified sites that you can go forest bathing.
Yes.
And they've got a considerable number of partnerships with medical organisations. That's got an awful lot of institutional credibility. So it's not just some sort of, let's go wander in the forest, is it?
It's not, because we all knew that we feel good in nature, but no one really could explain why. What triggers this physiological relaxation? Why feel so good? Why our immune system improves just being in nature? Back in 1990s, all the Japanese scientists started a study on human being to measure the benefit of health. The first test was conducted in Yakushima, one of the World Heritage Islands in Japan in the south. They tested one subject to check the cortisol level from the saliva before and after. And they found some reduction of stress level. Since then, the study goes further And it's not just for Japanese scientists, but scientists from around the world join the study to see the physiological benefit from nature. So as a history with a scientific background, the supported by science studies, the forest therapy or forest bathing has only 30 to 40 years of history. But during that time, the scientists are discovering so many benefits just being and walking in nature.
I think about, our environments. If we're lucky, we have a park. And if you live in parts of, say, Melbourne and parts of Sydney, there's probably all concrete and brick and buildings and stuff like that, and not a lot of trees. So we're so disconnected. But what you're telling me there is that the Japan Forest Therapy Society has got a lot of scientific credibility. And so you did the course. So what were some of the things you were studying during that course?
We learned about understanding the difference between pristine forest and man-made forest, but the benefits are pretty much same. It's a natural environment that's all the good things for human health. And we learned some language to use during the session. We read lots of scientific papers, understanding why exposing yourself in nature does good things. But it's also Japanese Shintoism, the philosophy of Shintoism also contribute for us to feel more connected with nature.
So is there an organisation in Melbourne that's actually teaching this?
Yes. There's an organization called International Nature and Forest Therapy Alliance. In Japan, there's so many scientific studies, and not only in Japan, but around the world, it's still going on. But I think they initiated the first forest therapy trail within Deakin University in Melbourne for a scientific research purpose.
Obviously, in Japan, there's a lot of institutional credibility, so it must be well known there, but it's lesser known here, isn't it?
Not yet.
When you reach out to corporate clients to help them, you've got a lot of scientific backing behind that. So it's not to say, hey, come on, we'll go and do a run through the forest or something. There's quite a bit there. So how will it work with corporates?
It doesn't necessarily that they always have to be in the forest. We use the word of forest because it's originated from Japan. Shinrin-yoku, shin means forest in Japanese. Yoku means bathing. So it comes naturally from forest therapy or forest bathing. In this country, you can call it like nature therapy. So the important part is to allocate yourself in natural environment, either park or local reserve forest, ocean, beach, whenever it calls like natural environment. So the idea is to take employee out to the nature to reset, rejuvenate their energy back to work. So they could be more productive, more creativity, more resilience, strong team bond. And if you have good energy to fight with this stress-related element at work, your performance can last longer, which gives a great contribution to the corporate itself.
Yeah, I think the critical one is burnout. It's just creeps up on people. And finally, sometimes it's too late. Forest therapy or nature therapy in Australia is about engaging the five senses to reduce stress. So when you say guide a walk, what do you actually do to engage those five senses? What are some of those activities that you do to help create those conditions?
Yeah. So the first activity we invite people is called tuning the senses. So it's very simple. We just close your eyes, or even you can open your eyes, but go through our five senses one by one. It's a guided sensory practice. You start from, it depends on the guide, but I usually start closing your eyes, feel your body hold, and then engage your sense, focus your sense to listening, feeling, smelling, and tasting. It doesn't necessarily that you eat something or you taste something. You can still connect with the sense of taste if you close your eyes and focus on the mouth, or you can even open your mouth and taste the air, something like this. So we do that session for 10 to 15 minutes. And connecting your own senses means you expand your connection with the surrounding. And I can talk about the 5 elements, the Japanese philosophy of 5 elements. Understanding these 5 elements makes you understand more why we are as one as nature. To be maybe another story.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, we do a sensory practice at the beginning of the walks, and then we walk. So by closing your eyes, you shut down the information coming from your vision and the other senses start waking up.
That sounds very relaxing from the sounds of it. So you've got an event coming up where you're hoping to connect with corporate clients. What's that?
Yes, it's called Wellness at Work Summit. And that will be taking place in Sydney in November, the 2nd week of November.
And tell me something about that. How are you involved in that?
During the Cherry Blossom Festival, we are selling a lemon myrtle tea for them to taste the nature, the one of the sensory things. And then we made a few dollars. We made a profit. And we thought about what we're going to do with this money. Should we use it for professional photographer or videographer, or should we create some website? We ask professional, blah, blah, blah. And then one of the guys says, hey, I found this summit. Why don't we apply? Concept-wise, it's perfect because we are providing wellness solutions. The connecting with nature is kind of a good topic to talk about now these days. As you say, more AI, more technologies taking over the world. Why don't we give a simple solution? So we submitted an application and we approved. So that's how we got involved with the summit.
Okay. So you're going to set up a stall, or do you get to talk?
Yes, we will set up the stall. We will decorate some natural material. We want our stall as a little oasis for them to have a break, to contact with some natural materials. And of course, we want them to try some lemon myrtle tea as well.
Do you make up your own lemon myrtle tea?
Yes, we collect lemon myrtle tea. One of the guys has a lemon myrtle trees in the garden, or we just pick up leaves and we do it. Let them taste.
Oh, and people like it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to try it. Yeah. I don't think we've got a lemon myrtle here. I'll have to go and have a look at what I've got out there and see what I can make tea, because I'm having more and more herbal teas. Is there something else you'd like to talk about with what you're doing?
Yes, just a quick note that you told me that things are not simple these days anymore. So I think for a therapy comes into that space, things are simple. And there's only truth in nature. No lies, no fake information in nature. So people with burnout, stressed out, they don't have any space. They can't breathe. So by being in nature, you are in a space and things are very simple there. And there's only truth. What you see, what you hear, what you witness, everything is the truth. So it's a call to back to simplicity, and it's okay to do nothing. You don't have to rush or hurry things, because nature takes time to grow it. They don't hurry, and it's okay. You get some kind of this slowing down idea or concept in this simple space with only truth information. We also have innate desire of connecting with nature, which is called biophilia. our genes knows that we part of nature, we relate to nature, but outside information blurred that kind of instinct.
Because our cities are so big now, I think our environment is not conducive to the calmness anymore. We're living in a post-industrial world now where most of the value is coming out of our thinking. And the biggest concern I have is that people will not recognise that they are burnt out already. And I can see that people will be reluctant to take the time to take 3 hours and just detune. We're rushing all the time. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
That's pretty much, I think.
Okay. Mayumi, how would you like people to find you?
On website, which is forestminds.com, for individual walks or private walks, or for the corporate, we can work as a team, which is the website is for Therapy Collective New South Wales.com.
Thank you very much for being my guest. It's been wonderful to hear about forest therapy, and I think people have got to hear this, and if they can't find a guide, they've got to get out and start practicing this as well. So thank you very much for introducing it to us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Nigel.
That's all for today's Wisepreneurs podcast. Age is no barrier when you're a Wisepreneur crafting a purpose-driven career. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe, leave a review and share it with your network. Visit wisepreneurs.com.au to join my newsletter for exclusive strategies and ideas, and connect with me on LinkedIn for more insights. I'm Nigel Rawlins, and I'll see you next time to keep building your future with impact.